Now, what's the worst feeling in the world? For people here on the Sunshine Coast, it could be being in the ferry lineup, inching forward, thinking you're gonna make it onto the ferry, and then right in front of you, the gate closes, the red light flashes, you didn't get on. You almost got on, but you missed it, and now you're gonna wait 2 more hours in the parking lot and whatever you were planning to go and appointments and things in the big city. It's all gonna be rescheduled, so yeah. But I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about a feeling that maybe is related to that. It's a pretty bad feeling. It's a sense of being betrayed. Now, I feel, when you feel like your life has betrayed you, I don't know if you ever feel this way, hopefully not too often, but like people have let you down, you've worked and worked and worked and done everything you thought you should, and you tried and things are just not working out, and you just feel betrayed by life, and there's not that sense of enjoyment and fulfillment. It all just has gone kind of flat and sour. Terrible feeling, crunchy, awful feeling. Now let's think about what's on the opposite end of that feeling. Opposite feeling. It's, wow, my life is so good. The universe has got my back. Everything's working out pretty well. Most things work out for me most of the time. I'm just so amazed and so happy with how well my life is going, and how good things are, and how good people are to me, and how I can have such great relationships and things just work out. So that's a really good feeling. It's at the opposite end. Now, I'm going to assume that we would all rather be there than here. It might take a little bit of work to get there. That's a long distance. That's a long way to bridge. And I've been thinking about this, how to do that, how to accomplish that. Affirmations, do they work? I'm gonna be happy. I have a good life. I am successful. I find that can sometimes make me feel worse because it's the words are just so opposite to how I'm feeling. So here's something that I do. I wake up in the morning. Hey, I'm awake. I didn't have to keep my heart beating all night long. I didn't have to tell myself to keep breathing. I didn't have to work at breathing. My body is still here. I'm here. I'm alive. That's good. I am alive. I am here. That's a good thing. Then I look out the window. The sun is shining. Beautiful, glorious sunshine. It's shining on everyone. The whole world, it's shining on me. It's there for me to enjoy. And there's trees and birds, and I didn't have to do anything for all of that. It's just there because I'm here and I'm part of this. Oh, and then I got my coffee to look forward to. Oh, I love my morning cup of coffee. I can just taste it now. It tastes so good. I can start to see, there are some good things about this day. There are some good things about my life. And, and so this is just an example of some thoughts, very general thoughts that I think that could get me just feeling a little better. And then I start to think about my fun activities, my Toastmasters, my workouts, my friends in Compass, my sisters, my family. And if I stay there for a while, eventually I'll get feeling, wow, my life is pretty good. That's something that could work for me. But I want to circle back to that feeling of betrayal, because I think there's something more there that can be fine-tuned a bit. First, I will tell you when I had this feeling, and he was a big surprise to me. I gave a speech last night for my Toastmasters club, and it was something new that I was trying, and I know that I didn't have it completely figured out. I'd worked on it a lot, but I knew that the delivery was something I was still trying to figure out and practicing, and I was just hoping that the main intent of what I was wanting to say would come through, that people would get it, even though there were things about the format that could be tweaked. That's what I wanted. And I was very happy from the feedback I got that people did get it. They understood what I was really wanting to communicate. All except one person. And I got their feedback in the chat, and they're like, didn't really know what was my speech about. Was it about this? Was it about that? Was it that? I was like, what? Like, what's wrong with you? That was my thought. And like, I was really taken aback by this internal struggle that I had. This psychomachia is the word for that. Like, on the one hand, oh, I love my Toastmasters club, and people are so supportive and friendly, and everybody liked it, and they gave me good feedback. And then this one person didn't get it at all, and that feeling of not being understood, of someone not getting me, and that I didn't fulfill my purpose of communicating, it was hard for me to take, and it didn't take too long before it got me into this, so there's a bit of a downward spiral into a feeling that was very familiar, and it relates to the sense of being betrayed. And it's strange that this is just something place I go to quite a lot, I guess, because I want people to get me. I want people to understand who I am and appreciate, like the work that I put into it, or, I want this to be like fully recognized. And at the same time, I see that it's all a process as well. This need and wanting to communicate, understand, it's going to take a while. I've been in Toastmasters enough to know that it takes practice to really make sure that you're getting your message across. So I understood all that. But there is just this other level, this other layer underneath where I also felt like everybody somehow knew the rules except me, that other people, you didn't really have to work at it as hard as I did, that they could give a speech and everyone would go yeah, or whatever, and give them that without the amount of work that I'd put into it. So there is definitely this feel like, oh, a bit about maybe being on the outside, that other people got this figured out and I don't. I went, that I recognize that is such a familiar feeling, that sort of I'm encased in this isolation and nobody gets me. Nobody understands. And so I won't go into that anymore, but just to understand that it's that sense of sort of living behind a mask or sort of a persona. And I know I'm not alone in this. I was listening to a lecture the other night, and I heard a quote. This person quoted Jean-Paul Sartre, the 20th century existential philosopher, talking about this whole subject about relating to people, and he said, quote, people are hell. And what I take to mean by that is that when people don't recognize who we are and don't acknowledge who we are, feels like we're in hell. Because we're not ourselves. We're not allowed to be ourselves. We're not interacting as ourselves. At this point, I would say that it's not really anyone else's job to recognize me or to tell me who I am. that people are too busy with their own sense of self and figuring that out. And I can't rely. Can you imagine, like, relying on that? I have to rely on every single person I ran into to say, "Oh, Laurel, oh, you're this and you're that, and I see you like this, and I see you don't like that, and yes, I get you." Well, that's ridiculous, and it's a bit of controlling, having to control so much about how other people feel and react. I'm not interested in that. I want to appreciate myself. I want to recognize who I am. I want to have that feeling of inner satisfaction, and which I had the whole time while I was working on my speech. I was going, I love this. I love this research. I love practicing. I love figuring this out. And the learning to getting the feedback from the group and then improving is all part of the process, and that sense of getting better and better. I love that. And I know that about myself. That's something I could appreciate about myself. This sense of being worthwhile in who I am, in not needing, in recognizing myself, and recognizing that I have value and that I have worth, kind of counteracts that need to demand that everybody else get me. And this sense of recognizing myself, I thought I can work on this bit by bit too. So here's something I'm going to try, and you might be interested in it too. I want to think about myself in a different way. Just this is not something like a heavy thing to do, or even requires any amount of courage or willpower or anything. Just a small, slight suggestion. Just, is it possible that there are aspects of me, something about me, something about yourself maybe, that you just haven't really recognized or known or understood, something that no one else maybe sees, but maybe it's there, connected to something you really love to do. And that little bit of noticing and appreciation and recognition, I think, goes a long way to dispelling that negative energy of feeling betrayed by life and feeling betrayed by ourselves, and taking us quite a long way towards that sense of just feeling like things are always working out and the universe has got my back, and people are fun.